Yeah, hey, hi, how are you all doing? I hope you're doing really good. Welcome to another live stream. It's all about World Mental Health. What's all that about? World Mental Health? Well, actually, we're a representation of that because we're in the world as well. So, how I'm feeling and how you're feeling is a good representation of the whole of us, young people all over the place, all over the world. So if I had a globe in my hand, I would show you that, but I haven't. But I know my mate Kate has. So we're obviously from NYA, and I really need to know how everybody's doing. So before we get going, the first person I'm going to ask how they're doing is Kate. And what we do is we use our raw rainbow. Can everybody remember the raw rainbow? Yes, I hear you all shout. The raw rainbow is our feelings from 1 to 10. So we can have really, really good feelings. Everything's brilliant, excellent. Well, hey, I'm a number 10. Or we can feel right down in the dumplings and we could feel a number 1. So I want to gauge that with all of you guys, and many of you would have come across our raw rainbow, all over the year, in your schools, wherever it is. It might even be at home. What are your numbers? I want to hear how your numbers are. 1 to 10. Have a little discussion amongst yourselves, and I'm going to ask my little mate Katie. So before I do that, those of you that have seen me before, you'll realise I've got no hair now. But it's still me. It's not my brother. It is me. My name's Tony, and I'm going to ask Kate, how are you feeling on the Royal Rainbow?
Hi, Tony. Hi, everyone. Afternoon. I'm Kate, and I work on the race team with Tony as well. I've still got all my hair, for those of you who joined in last year. Tony's still looking good without his dreadlocks, though, so still smashing it, Tony. I'm a good number. We had fun this morning on the live with Key Stage 1. It was a little bit nervous. Number was low. But I've just had some lovely lunch, so I'm feeling a little bit better. So I'm going to go with a 6.
Fantastic.
How about yourself, Tony?
Do you know what? I'm going to give myself a nice little 7. Bit of a 7 I'm going to go for. So we want to know how everybody else is doing. How's everybody else doing?
Let us know your numbers on the Padlet. Links down below.
Absolutely. It's all interactive. Technology today is fantastic. All right. So put your numbers down on the Padlet. Have a little discussion amongst yourselves. We want to see numbers coming up. That's brilliant.
Okay. All right, so we're going to start our session off with a little bit of an activity to get you in the mood for the session this afternoon. We're going to play the emotions wheel game. So in a second, wheel's going to spin on the screen. We've got some 5s with us today. Fabulous, thank you. We're going to see the wheel spin, and it's going to come up with a random emotion. And what we'd like you to do is we'd like you to behave like that emotion when it comes up. Okay, 3, 2, 1, go.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. Loads.
Oh,
it's that green.
It's a tricky one. Okay, so in the room, try your best to behave repelled. How do you look and behave when you're repelled?
I'm doing a lot of miming here. Mine's a lot more.
Have a look around the room. Are you similar to friends around the room? Are any of you doing the same? Or are you quite different? Me and Tony are quite different, aren't we? Okay, next emotion. Spin that wheel. 3, 2, 1, go. Don't forget to use the Padlet, guys. Feedback to us. We can't wait to hear what you've got to say. Oh, we're going to go optimistic. Okay. Have a little think about how you feel when you're feeling optimistic. What do you look like? What might you behave like when you're optimistic? I'm not hiding a lot really when I'm feeling optimistic, but
I've got a cunning plan.
Someone say you feel quite positive when you're optimistic. Yeah, I would say I definitely feel positive when I'm feeling optimistic. Okay, again, have a little look around the room. How are your friends looking? Do they look a bit different to you? Do they look similar? Okay, Tony's checking in on the dogs.
I am. They haven't changed.
All right, so a little warm-up exercise just to get you thinking about our feelings and emotions, and that all of us often behave very different, even though we might be feeling the same emotion. And it links very much to what we're going to be talking about today. So, Tony mentioned today is World Mental Health Day. So, what is the theme? The theme is making mental health a global priority. But what does that mean to us? It means lots of different things. And as Tony said, we all represent mental health in the world because we are part of the world. So you can take lots of different meanings from this. But one of the things that we've done is to think about some of the things that we worry about as young people in Liverpool, and maybe how that kind of can happen across the world as well. So that's the way we've taken the session today. And here at Raise, we do a lot about making mental health everyone's business. So an easy way to think about this year's theme is that. So how do we make mental health everybody's business? And one of the ways we do that here at the Raise team is we listen to yourselves as young people. We do a lot of work that is about what are the young people telling us. Now, in a second, I'm going to introduce you to one of our friends called Amara. And Amara comes to what we are one of our groups called the Yay Group, which is a young person's group that's led by young people to tell us what we should be doing in our job and what we should be doing in Liverpool as a city to help make mental health everybody's business. You might be interested in getting involved in that as well. And hopefully some of you will want to do that. Please let your teacher know you want to get in touch and they can get in touch with us. We'd love to have you on the team. But in a second, Amara's going to talk to you about something that's really important to her. And she's going to do it through a poem. And I know it was National Poetry Day, wasn't it? So I'm sure you're all in the mood for poems at the moment. Amara's going to talk to you about some of the things that she thinks need to change in order to make mental health a global priority. It's her story, it's her opinions. We'd love to hear yours, and we'd love to hear what you think about the poem. So please listen carefully, enjoy, and we'll see you in a little second.
We don't talk about mental health. Depression, anxiety, it's all a myth, a Western state of mind, not something we deal with. We don't talk about mental health. Our mother tongue doesn't have such terms. Only in English do we hear them explained, so in the minds of many the meaning is blurred. We don't talk about mental health. Our boys, they're men, providers, they're strong, hard and tough. I've yet to meet one who was a crier. We don't talk about mental health. That's why Auntie's silent when Uncle calls his daughter deranged. He's just worried that the problems he brushed under the rug will one day be found by the suitor to whom her marriage is arranged. We don't talk about mental health. How dare we be ungrateful and say we're depressed? Look at our homes, our families, our cars, our lives. Our parents left everything behind to give us the best. We don't talk about mental health. It's not a condition, it's a consequence. If we stayed loyal to our roots, we could have avoided such a criminal sentence. We don't talk about mental health because an invisible illness isn't an illness at all. It's our own fault, our own betrayal, a problem of our own weakness and sin. We don't talk about mental health. That's just how we are. That's just our tradition. That's just our culture. That's just how things are, right? Right? But we need to talk about mental health, to not pass trauma down to another generation or repeat mistakes, regret living in the past without changing for the future. We need to keep talking about mental health, to educate those uneducated, to create a language that our community can understand, to understand that faith doesn't ignore mental health, to create a culture of normalising, to open up a path for those hiding, to remove a mask from the collection we've built, trying to adapt and just exist. Our community, my community of people, British and Pakistani, Indian, Bangladeshi, Sri Lankan and more, can talk about mental health, must talk about mental health, will talk about mental health.
Well, that was brilliant. That was excellent and very well worded. What do you think, Kate? Was that great?
I love listening to Amara. I listen to that poem every day. It was really powerful. I'm just wondering if anyone picked up on some of the messages that Amara was trying to tell us. She was talking about her community, particular community, but there was some really important things around the way we use words and the way we talk about mental health, maybe this side of the world. In different parts of the world, we wouldn't know and understand those terms. And also one that stood out for me was the one around boys don't cry. Boys aren't allowed to cry, and there's definitely something in our society, isn't there, in our city too of Liverpool, that our boys have to be tough and our boys not allowed to show emotions. And actually, we all experience those, don't we? So our boys should be able to cry and talk about our mental health. So they're the two big things that come out for me. What about you, Tony?
Well, do you know what came out for me was that we are so lucky that we're starting to talk about it, and there's a number of nations, there's a number of cultures that don't talk about their true feelings. So it's all about being able to understand and being compassionate and being a good listener and not being ashamed of our true feelings, whether we're guys, we've still got those emotions. So I think for me, there's a number of different little things. So being a guy, I think it's really important to talk about my ups and downs and to be positive about it. But also it's about recognizing that there are a lot of nations that kind of like sweep it under the carpet, and we need to kind of promote, let's talk about it. Let's say what we're really feeling. So those are the two things that came out of that poem for me. I think they're very, very strong and like you said, very powerful as well.
Definitely. Thanks, Tony. And thanks, Amara, if you are watching. I'm not sure if you are, but thank you so much for being brave and putting that poem together as well. There is a couple of schools we want to say hello to. So as we're kind of having a little look at that again, I want you guys now. So hello to Dovedale, Arnott St. Mary's, St. Ambrose, Emmaus, Heswall, Lawrence Community School. We've also got Hunts Cross and Kensington. Hi, everyone. We want to know what you think about Amara's poem.
Absolutely.
Let us know in the Padlet. We'd also like you to have a think about now. Okay, we're talking about the world, the big world around us. What can we do to make it everyone's business? What can you do? What can you do about it in your class? Or what could you do about it in your school? Okay, so we've got some comments. Everyone should be able to let their feelings out, not just women and girls. Really important points. It's kind of echoing what me and Tony were saying. Okay, so we'll just give you a chance to get some more comments on the Padlet, and we're going to move on slightly. If anyone wants the poem as well, it is available on the YouTube and also our NowFest channel. And there's lots of videos and things that yourselves as schools could have a little look at. And if you want to at home, you can have a little watch of them as well. Okay, so we've talked about our big global community, our big world. And now we're going to zoom in a little bit on our little world. Our small world. And sometimes our world, when we talk about our world, that can mean our family, can't it? It can mean our little worlds as a school community. It can mean our worlds as where we live. So it can often mean different things. And we're quite lucky in Liverpool because you've told us what your worries are. You've told us what impacts on your mental health. And we're going to focus on them for the rest of the session. So you might remember doing a really important survey last year called the Oxwell survey. And the results of those have told us really important things. In Liverpool, in our little world of Liverpool, we are now know that our young people are telling us loneliness, bullying and sleep are the three main things that really impact on your mental health. So we're going to spend the rest of the session having a little look at that and playing some games and having a little bit of fun. Because after all, we want to celebrate mental health. Someone said that no matter where we are, who we are, we want to shout about mental health and do things that make our mental health feel good. Okay, so Tony's going to start a little bit about telling you one of our topics, sleep. And I'll hand over to Tony.
So I am comparing this to a battery. So if anybody's got anything that runs on a battery, it's really important that we get really nice live batteries. So I've got a nice little remote control car actually, and I love playing with it. And I went to play with it the other day, and it wasn't working. It was going really slowly. And that was all because my battery was absolutely drained. So what's really important, if we're comparing, some of what we're like, are our batteries charged up? As human beings, we need to make sure that we've got the energy that we need to get through every single day. And sometimes if we're feeling a bit down in the dumplings, we're feeling a bit low, we're really feeling low charged. So that there are many different things that we need to do in order to make sure that we're refreshed, or that we've got the capacity to make some of those decisions and choices in our lives. And it's all about, just really simple little things. So if you remember back, we talked loads about the resilience framework and being resilient. And there are some really basic needs that we have to do. Sleep is one of them. And that's what I wanted to refer this all to. How are we recharging ourselves? We need to get the right amount of rest so that we can get through our days with loads of energy. So sleep is a really, really important factor. And we need to make sure that we are sleeping good. And with that, I think we've got a nice little activity for everybody to do. So by all means, whilst we're talking, if you've got anything to say on that Padlet, you put it down there, girl, and then we'll read it all out. So that's brilliant. I'm going to hand over to you, Kate.
Fab, thank you, Tony. So St. Francis de Sales and Sacred Heart, are you ready for the game? I hope everyone else is as well. But just hi to you guys. Shoreside, Rice Lane, St. Philip's, Westbrook, Chilwell, Gilmore and Garston. Hi, everyone. It's so amazing to have you all with us this afternoon. So we are going to play a game called This or That. And what I'm going to say is if you think it is this, you stand up. And if you think it's that, stay seated, okay? And it's all to do with sleep. Okay, so the first one, this means you like the light on and you go to sleep. That is that you like the light off. So sit down if you like the light off. Stand up if you like the light on. I'm staying sat down because I like the light off.
Me too.
Have a look around the room, everyone. You'll see everybody's so different. Okay. Stand up if it's this, warm and cozy. Sit down, stay seated if you like it cool and clear when you go to sleep. Okay, I'm going to stand up because I like it warm and cozy.
I'm going to sit down because I like it cool and clear.
Okay, have a quick look around, everyone. Well, warm and cozy seems to be winning today. Don't forget, we are all different. We like different things to sleep. Okay, next one. Do you like reading / having a story? So that's this. So stand up. Or do you like relaxing music? So is it that, this or that? I'm going to go for... I'm going to stay standing. I like to have a little bit of a read.
I'm going to have a half seat here because it's not I like to have a read, but my girls like me to read them stories and stuff. And I also like listening to music.
Yeah. So we might be a little bit in between, and that's okay. The most important thing is that we're having to think about what helps us. So someone's put reading puts me to sleep. Fabulous. Someone's put 1 foot out the bed. We have to make sure 1 foot's out the bed. I love that. Thanks, Michelle. Okay. Next one. Is it this? Is it one or more pillows? So do you like one or more than one? Or is it that? Stay seated down if you don't like any pillows. Okay, so we've got lots of our class are half stood and half sat. So again, we might be somewhere in between. Fabulous. I'm going to stay standing up. I love loads of pillows, loads of cushions.
I do as well. I like them.
Okay, next one. Michelle, you might want to answer this one. Socks on or socks off? So stand up if you like socks on for sleep and sit down if you like your socks off. I'm going to sit back down. Cannot wear my socks for bed. Cannot sleep.
Do you know what, Kate? I have to keep my socks on until I'm warm enough, and then I take them off.
Okay, everyone. Hopefully you've had a little bit of fun with that. Someone's put no one likes cold feet. Maybe some of us do. Maybe some of us like cool feet. Basically, what we wanted you to have a little think of this afternoon is what we call sleep hygiene. So where we would have, dental hygiene, looking after our teeth, body hygiene, making sure we have a wash, things like that. Your sleep hygiene is just as important. So making sure you learn, like learning Leo, what it is that's good for you. So going away from today, we want you to think feet. What food do you eat before bed? Will it keep you full and let you go to sleep all night? Are you eating lots of sugar, which is going to give you loads of energy just before bed, and then you won't be able to sleep? So have a think about what food you eat. Environment. We've had a little think about that in our this and that game. Do you like your hot, cold, dark, light, things like that? Electronics, a biggie one for all of us, I think. Try to come off your iPads and your mobiles and your games and things at least an hour before, so that your brain starts to train itself to know it's bedtime. And we speak to lots of young people in school, and they say, "Oh, miss, I couldn't get to sleep last night." And one of the things I always say was you on your phone before you went to sleep, or were you on your iPad? It tricks your brain into thinking it's daytime. So try and come back off that an hour before. And also time. Make sure you're going to bed the same time every night. We forget our brain is a muscle, and we can actually train it. So if it's knowing that it goes to bed every night at 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock or maybe 10, your brain gets used to that. So please go away and have a little think about it. Someone's put in some cereal before bed is great. Sometimes, yeah, it can be lovely to fill your tummy up. Porridge is a really good one as well. Let us know in the Padlet some good tips. We'll share them all. There's so many schools on this afternoon. Let's get sharing. Okay, so that's our sleep. We're going to move on to our second topic now. As we said, you told us what they were, and we're making sure we cover them for you today. So Tony's going to do another poem now, and it's called Shout It Out.
And this poem is all about some of the things that are going on when we're listening to mean things. What can we do about some of that? So this was somebody that was speaking out. Listen up good. I've got something to say. Don't turn around. Don't look away. You hear with your ears and you see with your eyes. It don't take a fool to realize. Being mean and unkind ain't the way we should go. Fighting each other, is that all you know? You think that you're smart the way that you act. I tell you the truth, and this is a fact. For you to look big, you have to put down. You think you're a king and your hat is a crown. You say, do what I say or I'll speak with my hand. Is it the strongest that do well in this land? You can't win with words, so you then choose to fight. But you are the coward afraid of what's right. See, we each have the right to say how we feel. If we're right or we're wrong, it's not a big deal. But the big deal is this. You must learn to respect. You have 2 ears to listen and a mind to reflect. And when we see what is wrong, we must choose to speak out. Change sadness to happy if we stand up and shout. Yeah. Okay, so that was my little poem. And I do believe I really need for people to kind of give me a little bit of an understanding. What do you think that's all about? Kate, you're going to ask me a few little questions, aren't you?
I am. So whilst I'm asking Tony some questions, we'd like some comments in the Padlet. What did the poem say to you? What was it talking about? And what was it saying that maybe we need to do going forward? So we'll give you a chance to do that. I'm going to ask Tony some questions. The first thing I wanted to say to Tony, and I know this because Tony's my friend, he really likes to use poetry to express his feelings and express his mental health and talk about some things that sometimes impact on his mental health. And he uses poetry a lot to do that, don't you, Tony?
I do, whether it's good or bad. And I've had some pretty bad news, but what helps me is when I do some of the things that I really enjoy. So poetry is one of them, and it helps me to express my thoughts and my feelings. So I use poetry in order to do that. You're absolutely right. Thank you, Kate.
And I think it's really important when we're saying about what things can we do going forward to make mental health everyone's business. It might be that you want to write a poem. It might be that you want to do some poetry. And St. Jerome said we can always speak to someone and we should find someone. Really good point, St. Jerome's. Thank you. We said this in this morning's session to Key Stage 1. If you are feeling lonely at the moment or having trouble sleeping, or maybe we're going to talk about in the second round, bullying, please do speak to an adult in school. It's really, really important. We think the poem was not about bullying. Stand up for yourself, and you need to talk about respect. Fabulous. Okay. So one of the things we wanted to talk about, okay, was yes, bullying might happen, but what actually can we do? Yeah. And it is about standing up. I'm glad people are picking up on that. It's about standing up, but it's not always just about us standing up for ourselves. And I'm going to hand over to Tony to tell you a little bit about what he was trying to say in his poem.
Okay, so it's about actually reflecting and standing up for other people as well. And we do a brilliant little course, and it talks about a bystander. And actually a bystander is somebody that witnesses something that's going on. So even when, you know, those unkind words might not be said to me, but they might be said to one of my friends, or they might be said to somebody else where I'm in the room. And it's all about, what am I going to do about it? What can I do to stop some of those things from happening? And it's not necessarily going up and confronting that person. It might be going up to somebody and saying, are you all right? And we call these people bystanders, active bystanders. And, you know, a shortened version is to be an upstander, to stand up and do something about it. Even if it is just going up to your friend and saying, are you okay? I heard what's been said. Is everything all right? Do you want to talk about it?
So we've got in the Padlet, sorry, Tony, we've got in the Padlet, don't be scared to tell someone. So sometimes as an active bystander, you don't actually have to do anything. Being an active bystander is going to tell somebody else about it and go and tell an adult or a teacher. That's being an active bystander. But what we want you to do going forward is to think about how you can be an active bystander. How can you be that upstander for bullying? Or if you ever see something mean or unkind happening in your school, be that active bystander, stand up against unkind things. So the antidote to bullying is obviously kindness. And what we'd like you to do is we'd like you to think about how you can make kindness a habit. Now, if you like to do a bit of reading or you like to do a bit of Googling, you'll find that to make something a habit, we have to do it every day for at least 3 weeks. So what we'd like you to do today is make a little bit of a promise. Write it down in your workbooks, or if you've got your worksheet or anything, or even if you just want to tell Miss or say what it is that you're going to do from today. What is it that you're going to do every day for 3 weeks where you make that a kindness habit? If we all be more kind, there's going to be less unhealthy friendships, there's going to be less sadness, there's going to be less loneliness in the world. So let's make this a habit today. I'm going to make sure that from today, I'm going to make sure I smile at as many people as I can, even if I don't know them. I'm going to smile away every day for 3 weeks and see if it makes a difference. How about you, Tony?
Do you know what? I'm gonna actually ask people how they're doing. I'm going to ask everybody that I meet today what their number from 1 to 10 is. And even if I go into a restaurant or if I go into Aldi, I'm going to say, okay, tell me your number from 1 to 10. That's what I'm going to do.
Fabulous. Let us know what your habits are. What are you promising? Someone's put, I'm going to start meditating. That's quite nice. Be equal to everybody. Treat others how we want to be treated.
Brilliant.
Lovely. Keep it going, guys. Okay, let's move forwards. Got a lot to cover this session, haven't we? We could talk all day to you. Okay, so a really quick activity. Here's the rules. You're leaving for a desert island in 5 minutes. You can take 3 things with you, and it can't be your friends or your family or a human being or a pet. It's got to be other things, okay? 3 things. You've got 90 seconds to decide what they are. Go. Okay. Some of us might have found that quite hard. Some of us might have found it really easy. So St. Jerome's have said we're taking water, food and shelter with us. So really clear message around survival there, yeah? A life supply, staying there a while. A life supply of food and water, a mattress and a notebook. Oh, so now we're coming into those things around comfort maybe. A notebook. Is that to connect in some way, to write? I don't know, you're thinking about a message in a bottle, sending it home. A book, a podcast, records, letters, and a teddy to hug. Again, we're coming back to that comfort, connecting in some way. I personally would have took a photograph of my friends, my family, and maybe my pet dog, Coco. So I would feel more together. Even though they're not with me, I was with them in spirit. So the antidote to loneliness, and we use the idea of a desert island because we can often feel like really on our own, like we're on a desert island when we're feeling lonely. Use that as in the game to get you thinking a little bit about what you might do to get out of that feeling. And it's often to do with connecting. It's often to do with finding comfort. So we're going to ask you to do something now. We're going to ask you to stand up or sit down if you agree with this statement, okay? So there is a place to go if I feel lonely in my school. I'd like you to stand up if you agree and you think there is somewhere you can go if you feel lonely. I'd like you to stay sitting down if you disagree. And if you're unsure, maybe stand up halfway. Okay? And just give that a minute and let everybody look around. Teachers, support staff, if you can have a little look around for us as well and just check in with everybody. We would love everybody to have a place where they don't feel lonely. But unfortunately, you're telling us that's not the case. And unfortunately, it's a global worry as well. So if you see someone in your class who's disagreeing, who's sat down, connect with them, Provide them with something that you've just thought of. Maybe it's a hug, maybe it's your favourite teddy. Let them have a little squeeze of it. Yeah, connect with them. Let's find some places for people to feel less lonely. Okay. In your workbooks or a little worksheet you might have from Miss or Sarah, we're asking you to think about how we can move from loneliness to love. Okay, so the opposite of loneliness is love. Let's be kind. Let's be together. Let's connect. I want you to pick 3 things today that you can do to move away from loneliness and towards more of a loving world and more of a love between you and the rest of your class and the rest of your school. So we're going to leave that one with you after the session today. And then finally, just bringing it back to that whole big world. We would love to hear what your dream is. What would you like to see for the world? How do we make mental health everybody's business? And we'd love you to share those with us on the Padlet or through our social media. And what is your dream? And we're just going to hand over to Tony to check out, make sure everyone's all right.
Excellent. Oh, thank you. I hope you've had a really good little session today. Just remember, this is all about making sure that we talk about how we're really feeling. We do all have worries. There's a lot of people around us. There's teachers, there's good friends, there's our trusted adult. We talk loads about our trusted adult, but we also have got mental health support teams that are in your schools, seedlings that are out there, that are out there to help you. So make sure that you're talking to people around you, and also I don't know if there's any rocket champions out there, but
hi to all the rockets.
Some of those are in the school, so just make sure that you're talking to people. Don't keep it to yourselves. And I just want to finish on your numbers. What numbers are you all feeling right now? Put that in the Padlet so that we can see. I'm feeling a nice little 8.5, so that's fantastic. I hope you've enjoyed the show. That's it from me, and that's it from Kate. We are the race team, and this is Livestream.
Enjoy World Mental Health Day. Bye.